What's good, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. Hopefully you had a great weekend. I'm Nadeska, that's Wayno, this is Akademiks.
What's good?
We're here.
How y'all doing today?
I feel a little off. I don't know what it is.
Feel off?
Is
Yeah,
it
like
his
off
hat
balance.
that's throwing you off, or?
His hat is throwing me off, but I don't know what it is. I feel a little off balance.
How did you
Might need
become
a little B12. Well, that's what you
little
need.
B12? How did you become a hipster while you were in LA this weekend?
How did I turn into a hipster?
I don't know that hat.
Rocking this is a hipster.
I've never
go back
seen
to
you
Fitteds.
wear a
Looks like
beanie
a- I
I wanted to take
before.
one day off Fitteds. I told you the rebrand's coming. I'm about to come in here with the sharpest Stephen Harvey lineup y'all ever seen in
You
life.
look like
Okay.
a
And it
creepy
won't
ass
be a-
photographer.
I'll creepy. You
Yeah,
know,
you do.
hold on.
You just opened your studio in Bushwick, didn't
No,
you, Ak?
hold on. To be clear, half the niggas who walk around Complex that work here rock some shit like this.
I
So
expect better from you, though.
now we know who the type of niggas work in here. This is the last year I'm rocking this shit.
All right,
Okay,
hipster
man.
Ak. Let's go, man. All right,
I was
guys.
about to rob somebody, some ski man shit.
Nah, what does that even say on it?
I don't know.
How
Like,
was
it's like
how-
merch.
How were you guys' weekends?
It was great. I didn't work this weekend for the first time in months.
Yeah.
Got some sleep, feeling good.
I chilled out. I went to go see Us. It was cool.
Oh, how was it? I
was
was too
good.
scared to see it, but I'm gonna do that
good.
this week.
Some people keep telling me it's overhyped. You know, it did $60 million in box
70.
office. 70?
70.
I'm very proud of, of my man Jordan Peele.
You
He's
gotta
doing
do it just to support. No one cares if it's overhyped or not.
But I still call trash, but I do the support.
It's not
Still go
trash. It's
see it,
definitely not
though.
trash. But I think it's very a particular movie, like if you're into certain type of movies like that.
Interesting.
You like it.
I always like the twist at the end in his
Very good
this
twist.
movie,
at
so
the
we'll
end.
see. All right, guys, it finally happened. On Friday, Rich the Kid released his sophomore album, The World Is Yours 2. 16 tracks, features from Young Thug, Offset Gunna, Tory Lanez, Big Sean, and much more. He dropped the lead single back in December, was called Splashing. And during a recent interview with Big Boy's Neighborhood, he said this is the album of the year because it's full of hit records. And then he also said on Instagram that he's the hottest rapper in New York. Name a rapper that gets paid more than me per show. And then he doubled back and was like, all right, you guys are right. Cardi definitely makes more bread than I do. Is this album of the year?
I think that this is too early. I mean, we're only in March, but it's a good album though. It's a good album. Like the thing about Rich, he makes feel good music. I always wonder why he runs into bad situations, because he makes a lot of feel good music. Like he doesn't make.
You be rapping that he about that life.
Huh?
You be rapping that he about
But
that life.
even the way he raps about it, he doesn't like it. I take it as him just rapping. I don't take it as like a threat. You know, like I don't take it as a threat. I think he's just having fun. A lot of his music sounds fun. I was surprised to see that he also put this guy Vori. Vori is a really big songwriter on his album. But overall, like this
Solid?
Yeah, it's a solid album. I think that Rich is really good at how he picks beats. That's the biggest thing about it. Like he has really, really good production on it.
So we talked last week about the sophomore slump. Did he surpass that with this? And also it's 16. A lot of the albums we talk about are like 20, 22 tracks. What do you guys feel about the length and just overall how he put it together?
It's too early for me to say if this is a sophomore slump or not. I thought it was all right. Okay. Nothing too special. The beat selection, he's always been good with that. Like it was good, but still, I was listening to the album and I felt like he was chasing like a lot of success he had from his last project in terms of that lead single. Like, he had Plug Walk, which did phenomenal. He also dropped Dead Friends last time. He had New Freezer as well. I felt like he was chasing a big record like that. I'm not gonna I listened to it like once, because I was moving around. So I'm not gonna say he didn't accomplish that, but it's too early for me to say as well it's a sophomore slump.
Okay.
So honestly, I felt like it was cool. So I probably gotta give it a couple more spins, but one thing I've always given Rich the Kid credit for is that, he's kind of like French Montana in a way. I always call him the young man's French Montana because he gets everybody pretty much to link up, give him verses. Even some people you think that he wouldn't be able to pull off. So the feature list here is like really amazing if you ask me.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't pop out with like a Frank Ocean feature as he has in the past. But shoot. Listen, as to what you were saying about the other thing, in terms of you don't know why stuff happened, maybe it's whatever energy. I believe in energy now, Wayno. I go to.
Now that you have a beanie on, you believe in energy?
I went to LA. Now I believe in energy now. You put the energy out, you get energy back.
Yeah.
I'm playing, nigga.
Who are you?
Nah, but as far as soft love, I felt like his album, even for his last album, I felt like it's kind of the same. Like it's good. Like
It's good, but the singles were big.
Yeah. I mean, damn, is he the only person to have a Kendrick feature like that year? Like, I don't think too many other people had Kendrick features, and Kendrick doesn't really do features.
Yeah, everyone
period.
was surprised by that.
Yeah.
Fuck a Kendrick feature. He was the only niggas just to get a Takeoff feature.
He said Takeoff?
Yeah, Takeoff. Usually it's Offset and Quavo.
Oh yeah, Takeoff. Usually don't be old people shit. But I mean, but overall, like I think that Rich, like it's consistent. I think it's consistent to his last project. Like I don't think that he really outdid himself, but I don't think that he fell under like what he last did as well.
Yeah, I like that he got
around
Jay
the
Critch and
same-
A Boogie on one track.
I like that as
Repping
well.
New York.
The crazy thing about A Boogie sounds really different on that joint though. I don't know if he switched his flow up or something, but in the beginning it didn't sound like A Boogie. Like the top of the verse doesn't sound like him.
Also, do we think A Boogie's getting bigger checks per show than Rich the Kid?
That might
His
be a
album's been
debate.
doing
That
well.
might
He's been
be a
on the
debate,
road.
but-
Hey, he asked the question.
Honestly, by the way, I think that's just him trying to talk some shit to draw him some attention. This album feels different, and we never acknowledge how the energy around an album feels, but like it feels different because I think the events leading up to him dropping this album hasn't allowed him to be himself, and I haven't seen the normal Rich the Kid shit. Like he's barely doing press, he's kind of really more subdued than we've usually seen with Rich the Kid. And I do believe that he's one of those artists where his personality bleeds into the music. So usually when Plug Walk was going on, I felt like his attitude and his like really self-promo helped push and propel that record to a #1. However, in terms of him saying whatever about the top New York artists, clearly he's going against Harlem native Wayno's like ideology that he can't claim New York. He's saying I'm a New York artist, all right? And he's saying I'm the biggest, or he backtracked and then he gave some props to Cardi. I mean, there's a couple of people, like, I'm not mad at him
I'm just
saying
joking.
that.
Yeah, I know he's trolling.
I'm not mad
Can
at
we
him
just
saying
show
that.
him if he's
Yeah,
trolling too?
another thing that's kind of, how they do the Rich Forever collabs with Jay Critch and Famous Dex. There's no Famous Dex on this album.
Well, Famous Dex notoriously was saying he wasn't happy with what was going on with Rich Forever.
Well, I mean, last night, Jay Critch had a show, and Famous Dex and Rich the Kid was both at a show. So I'm pretty sure they still all cool, but it's just surprising to not see him on it.
I'll say this. Rich the Kid is the youngest and best CEO from New York. Artist CEO.
There's not many of them
Yeah, I was gonna
anymore.
say
Well, that's what I'm saying.
but wait, I
He's in a
mean,
league of his own.
For someone who is still in the
just gotta
prime of
know-
his career and still trying to put other people on and giving them energy and trying to manage their own other artist situations and not just be selfish, I got to give him credit for that.
well, the thing about Rich the
Called me
Kid,
the
the whole
boss.
New York thing, because I seen that he lived in New York till he was like 13, but I just want to know like what he represents, because growing up in New York up until 13, you would definitely feel like you're still from New York,
Yeah.
but what he represents to me seems like Atlanta. Like the way he talks, the way he carries himself, everything seems like Atlanta.
I can't wait to have this conversation with Rich the Kid, where him and Wayno finally get to the bottom of it. What city can he really claim? All right, hopefully coming soon. Nav
Also,
also.
from Queens?
Yeah, I mean,
Queens, right?
he lived in Queens, born and raised in Queens until he's like 13. He moved to Atlanta when he was like 13.
We need to go over the claiming the rules once again. Because I was actually having a conversation last night and YB and Almighty J's name came up, and people were saying, yo, does he claim Houston, or could he claim Houston? He's from like Galveston, a town like that, which
Texas
is like
is
the
a big
outskirts.
fucking place.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what the claiming rules.
That's different though. If you're born outside of the city, you shouldn't be able to claim it. Like if you're born in Westchester, I guess you claim
know,
New
yo.
York,
The
but it's
Migos-
different. It's different than
the
being
Migos
from like
is thugging
Brooklyn
in
or the
Gwinnett.
Bronx.
They
or
claim
something.
Atlanta.
I don't know.
okay.
I guess it's by what you represent. Like I said, I was born and raised in the Bronx, but I got the Harlem tattooed on my hand. Like, you know what I mean? Like I guess it's what you represent.
We'll get to the bottom of this eventually.
We'll see.
All right, so on Friday, Nav also released his sophomore album called Bad Habits. Executive produced by The Weeknd. Again, 16 songs. Features from Meek Mill, of course, The Weeknd, Gunna, Young Thug. They're on every single project we're going to talk about this year, and Lil Durk. So before we get into some of the politics about clearing verses on this, what do you guys think about the project itself?
I honestly thought this is what was the best Nav project thus far. I don't know. I felt a little bit more confidence through his earlier music. I didn't hear him this confident like I'm hearing him now. I thought, he really put this together well. I thought the features weren't too much, because even when I saw the track list, I'm like, please don't tell me Nav is about to just chase a bunch of hits and just try to just get a good chart position and just like fuck up his album. But I think he kind of avoided that. Again, I listened to it like a couple of times, like really twice, and I liked it. I liked it even more than it was a joint called Reckless.
Yeah, well, Nav, like, I honestly like Nav on features more than I liked his own projects, but like, I think we gotta raise the question, do we start taking Indian rappers more serious? For real, not like
Brown
seriously.
Boys with the bag.
No, seriously, because I never really took Nav serious as a solo artist. You know, I thought that he's always good on like, when he was on Travis shit, when he's on Gunna shit, like his guest features always to me was better than his own shit. But like,
why? What was it you didn't like about his own records versus the features?
I don't know. I just never got it. What was the joint with him and Metro? That's the one I really tried to lock into. The whole project.
Perfect Timing?
Yeah, Perfect Timing. Like that's the only project I really tried to lock into. I really didn't dig that joint like that. But when I listened to this, I was like, yo, like he's actually better than I thought he was. You know, he's actually better than I thought he was. But I think that's a question. I think that people may not take him as serious because he's a Indian rapper. You know, it's not many of them. You know, so on a larger scale, on conversations, do we start throwing them into the newer groups of the kids? Like, you know, like I'm pretty sure we have our top fives of all of the guys that's reigning right now, but the newer artists like the Gunners, the Babies, like does he fit in there? I think that it's a conversation now with this album.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, because of his race and his appearance, if you want to just keep it all the way funky, I think he left out some of those conversations which he shouldn't. Like, you know, like for me, even though I like this body of work the most, I don't think that necessarily his other previous works were like trash, but like I feel like he gets left out of conversation.
Yeah, I think how like, and I'll give a basketball analogy. You're familiar with Tony Parker, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like Tony Parker, like if he was a black dude, because he's from France, he's never put into the conversation of the top point guards of all time. Like they never really bring him up at all, and he has like all the championships, all the like accolades, but he's never brought up. I feel kind of like the same way with Nav, because he's an Indian dude. Like people don't really bring him up in those conversations.
Interesting.
That's true.
All right, well, I'm glad you guys like the album. That's good, right? That's a good step.
Absolutely.
All right, so.
Hey, I knew Nav was serious. Me and Nav was playing Fortnite, no cap. Like, seriously. Back to back.
They ain't beat you for some bread?
Yeah, Nav wilded on me. But, like, once he stopped playing Fortnite for, like, literally took a little sabbatical for, like, 5 months, came out with an album, and I'm super proud of him. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, rappers try to juggle doing what they like and also making an album. He just cut off all the other bullshit.
Cut off video games.
No, you gotta get away from academics if you want to make a good album. That's
Right, it
all
wasn't
is.
actually Fortnite. It was just getting away from you.
Nah, man. I gave my blessing on it, though. What's the
Beanie
problem?
ass.
He gave his blessing. Oh, man, this
Blessing, the
motherfucker.
Brown boy with the bag, man. Y'all better stop playing, man. The Brown Boys are really on like a whole resurgence in the game. Well, not resurgence. First time they're really coming out. But I'm telling you, man, there's a couple Brown Boys from Toronto coming up too.
There's a few from New York as well. There's a few
Real?
from New York as well. Yeah,
Brown boys?
I forgot this brother's name, but I see him all the time. I think his name is. I forgot his name. I don't want to say the wrong name. Nah, it's not him. It's somebody else. I don't want to say the wrong name.
Okay.
No free clap.
We
I
can
feel
figure
you.
it out. Clap.
Nah, but it's a few of them. It's definitely a few of them.
Side note, completely unrelated, I feel like I need to shout out rappers from Alaska. Remember the conversation we had last week about rappers from remote cities? There's been a lot of rappers from Alaska in my like DMs and tweets this weekend. Sorry I didn't get to respond
Nigga
to
better
all
drop
you
a
guys.
location for me to believe him, man.
No, listen, I didn't. It was crazy.
No, I saw the scenery in the background of one video. That shit was definitely Alaska.
And real quick, I just want to say I apologize to the people of Canada for.
Oh, you offended some people last week,
Oh
huh?
my God! I didn't know that people get so upset about the boot thing, right? No, people was really flaming me. But the thing is like I said, like people that's from other places joke on New York all the time.
We're all about the jokes. Why is that even offensive?
I don't know. I think just
make fun of him back.
Canadian people just don't like when you joke about how they talk. But
Oh, wow.
apologies for the boot thing.
Don't get into it. The man's on the West End, man.
The man.
You cut it out.
I'm telling you, man. I love my Toronto people, man.
It's the UK dudes who got problems with you.
No, it's only gigs. It's only, I love,
you guys
I love,
make up
I love
already?
Dave.
Like, we're over
I
this
still
thing.
listen to psychodrama, okay?
Hey, I'm gonna listen to Dave's album.
No, for real, like, listen to it. I like it. But you know what I mean? You can make your own opinion.
On the song Habits, there was supposed to be an Uzi verse, so he claims it was because of DJ Drama and Don Cannon that it didn't make it. He said, I know y'all wanted Habits on the album. I had an open verse for the longest, and Uzi blessed us with one. Unfortunately, Drama and Don Cannon won't clear his verse legally. Used to be a big fan of them since the Gangsta Girls mixtapes and always thought they support new artists. I guess it's all about the money for them now. Crazy, but it's true. Now, obviously, in response, Drama told Complex that 4 collabs between Nav and Uzi were actually cleared. So he said it's not about the money because we actually turned down $100,000. All right, so following those comments from Nav, Drama actually hopped on Act's Instagram post on Sunday and said, quote, Uzi should put out Return or Take tomorrow or any day he wants. He has me and Cannon's total support and blessings to drop it. Then Uzi followed up posting a video with a caption that said, Free Uzi. This has been going on for a bit. Uzi claims he's gonna erase all his music and disappear and he can't put the project out, and Cannon and Drama said everything is good. What do you guys think is actually going on here?
I've finally come to a theory on this.
What is it?
I've finally come to a theory, man. I think Uzi's in a horrible deal, man, and he's trying Lil Uzi's way the fuck on out of it. That's the only thing that makes sense to me at this point, because I was really in the belief that Drama and Don Cannon were denying and declining to put out Uzi music. And it just makes sense. And also, not that you're going to take everybody for what they say. Why wouldn't they want to put out the shit? You feel me? Like, they're going to get paid, right?
So the deal with, not the deal with them then, with Atlantic. That's bad.
No,
There's
the deal
levels
with
to
them.
the deal, right? I'm confused.
The deal with them. He ain't ever blame Atlantic. He always blamed Drama. If I'm thinking through this whole thing correctly, he signed probably to a production deal to Drama and Don Cannon through Generation Now, and they signed him on some either a joint venture or they signed him directly to Atlantic. Mm-hmm. So Atlantic got nothing to do with Uzi, really. Okay. Like, Atlantic ain't got nothing to do with the deal he signed. He signed a deal with Drama and Don Cannon. Every time he's beefing or every time he's trying to convince the fans, I feel like he's using a lot of propaganda via social media. Mm-hmm. And I'm only at this point now because, again, I'm one of the biggest Uzi fans, but I have to believe that's what's going on, because he fooled me to initially think it was him not being able to put out music.
Right.
And I don't believe that anymore.
Well, I think that Uzi is just very indecisive as to what music he wants to put out. And I hear that that Uzi might be getting managed by Roc Nation now. Yeah, exactly.
But because things are going wrong with Drama and Cannon, or can you just...
I think that, this is what I think that, and I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Like, I don't see Drama and Cannon holding Uzi up. Like you said, why would they? It doesn't make sense for them to hold him up. I just think that Uzi's a very indecisive person.
So then he would be using that as an excuse instead of just saying, I'm not ready to put out
I think
music?
that they're an easy target. I think that they are a very easy target for Uzi to say, well, if he's not going to blame Atlantic, he's going to put it on whomever he's down with aside from Atlantic. That's the only people that's tied directly to his music. I think that he's just an indecisive person. He doesn't know what type of music he wants to put out at this point. I think he's figuring that out, but I don't blame it on Cannon or Drama specifically because I don't see the point in it.
Well, I can't think it's the music at this point. I don't think he's having creative problems.
I think he is.
I
believe he is. I believe he is. And again, I don't know. I know Cannon and all of them, but I don't know.
A informed mind told me that Uzi is in one of the worst contracts in the industry.
He's in the same. Come on.
No, for real. And
the worst contracts in the industry. You serious?
That's what I was told.
And, I don't believe that at all.
I mean, you could
How
believe
long
it
ago
not.
did he sign?
And
4 years ago.
And because of that, he's refusing to put out music until his contract is renegotiated. And of course, you can't. And he's using propaganda to use the fans to pressure the guys who he signed to, which does make sense. Because if Uzi came out to say, Uzi, who's made probably $10+ million since he came out, we're not gonna feel bad for you. Like, we're just fans, right? So if you come out and you're like, yo, you're not getting paid enough, bro, we don't really care. Now, if you come out and just blame your label and say they're holding you up and you're a slave, he's dropping the keywords.
You're right.
I'm a slave.
Free Uzi is...
I'm a slave.
Listen,
free me.
Slave.
Now we're like, get him out of his deal. When you're saying free me, it means get him out of his deal.
Stop it.
Wait, just want to say, is this from a very reliable
Very reliable source. And by
Okay.
the way, I'm a journalist now. Actually, I'm not. But don't ever say
You relax, Kay.
Because I asked the other side. I hit up drama them, and they said, listen, they deny all of that, and they said, to be honest, he's in a very favorable situation, and even a situation that they're working on even improving at this moment.
Interesting.
So again, I'm hearing two different contrasts. I just can't sit here and still think that he's having creative frustrations and he's just getting online just to troll drama and saying, free me. And then whatever Nav is saying, they're friends. Whatever Nav is saying, that's Uzi saying it.
I've gone through things in personal experience. Everybody's in love when there's no money, right? Everybody's in love when there's no money. Then when money starts being made, everybody starts saying, damn, you making that? Like, off of me? You're making that? Yeah, but at the same time, that's fine. That's what production is to build, right? It's to build. It's very arguable that without Generation Now and all the stuff that him going, Uzi going to Atlanta and learning and doing and all the relationships he built through being in mean streets, etc., is what got him where he's at today. So there's some value attached to that. Right. So the thing is like, I hear you, but it's very hard for me to, like me being a manager and doing all types of different things with deals, to believe that it's just a horrible deal. Because a lot of these artists, they're briefed on everything they sign. Mm-hmm. Listen, if you, and people always use like the $1 million mark. Yo, if you make $1 million, this will go to this person, that goes to that, this is what you come back with. Everybody's cool. Then when it starts accruing and getting bigger, then it's like, oh, that's an issue. But it wasn't an issue when you signed.
That makes sense. Yo, it must be somewhere in the middle. Maybe it's some of what both of you saying, because like the creative differences thing.
And also, like, again, sometimes, again, most of these niggas is young the first time you sign a contract. Until you're really getting those first publishing checks,
like Wayno said, once the money starts coming in, then you're like, I want a better deal, yeah.
Again, continue with what I heard. I heard Uzi want to get Generation Now out of the paint. And is that fair, though? So thinking on the flip side, we helped you the situation. We helped build what this is called. This is Lil Uzi. You can't just, it's the same thing with Rich. He's at the spot where I think Rich Homie Quan was with Think Is a Game. Even though Think Is a Game was playing with the money a little bit, allegedly, because he sued them. Yeah, where you're signed to somebody, and then you have another deal with somebody else, and you just want to cut the middleman. But unfortunately, that's not how it goes when you're signing contracts. So you can play this little hostage game. The fans are going to believe it because you're going to put it out there like you're a slave and you're just taking advantage of while you're showing off like 18 different cars worth like $4 million. So it don't look like you're starting for money.
Right?
You get me? But again, once you see like, oh, word, I made this amount of money, like I made everybody this amount of money, and this is only my piece. Again,
yeah, I mean, like if I had
everybody started thinking that 6ix9ine started thinking he shouldn't have to pay niggas when
all rappers start feeling like
yeah,
that.
like
all
you don't want to pay niggas. Like you start thinking, I want it all.
But the same thing is that you have to also understand that people place value and they place time. See, the thing is that nobody in the music industry doesn't get paid hourly, because if people got paid hourly, nobody be able to afford anything they pay for, right? So it's tons of hours and tons of time that's put into building and curating artists, just for it to be thrown back in your face as, well, you're making this, you're making too much money. But that, like I said, everybody's in love when there's no money. As soon as the money comes, then it's an issue. But you were briefed on all of these different things when you signed your deal. You can't tell me, like every artist has gone through this. Your lawyer tells you line by line what your deal is, for most of them, for what I've dealt with, line by line what it is. And then when you start making money, greed starts to set in with a lot of different artists. I'm not going to put that specifically on Uzi. But with a lot of different artists, greed starts to set in.
So I have a potentially stupid question here.
Okay.
I understand if you have like a manager, they could take 10 or 15%, or the agent takes a certain percent, the lawyer. But when you're in a production deal, what do those percentages generally look like?
So, well, they vary. I have artists in production deals, and for me, I do it at 20%. I do it the same thing I would do a management deal, because some people might say 50. And the reason why they say 50 is because they're paying for everything prior to you getting a deal. Okay. So that might be you having a crib. That might be me paying for your videos or your studio time, all of that. And it's like, yeah, if I'm putting in all of this money when you can't put up anything, I should get half back, which me personally, I can't take half of anybody's money.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But they vary from 50% to down to 20% and 80%. Like, people do crazy deals. I just wouldn't put nobody in nothing I feel would be morally unfair.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I know I'm saying a lot of hearsay, but listen, I've gone to great lengths because this is frustrating me. I'm tired of seeing.
Yeah, you were ready to.
I'm gonna get on the phone.
I'm tired of this shit.
You were
I'm not
trying to
gonna lie.
sacrifice someone this
For
weekend
real.
for this album, right?
Facts. I had a couple people, you know what I mean? Skinny, you had to. No, I'm playing. But seriously, I heard there was a little bit of he doesn't like the fact that Generation Now and Atlantic both get paid more off his music than he does.
We should, but
When you combine the numbers, probably,
No,
right?
individually.
No way.
That's what I was told.
What?
well,
And now that he's sitting on a lot of money after going on tour, so he does have money.
Right.
he got a ton of money.
Yeah, he could now again. If he didn't have money, he would put out the
So
album.
now he's
because
in
you
a good
need the
spot
money.
to fight for the money.
He's in the best spot. He could propaganda the fans to keep them interested in knocking at the door with the torches, so they still want the music. While he kind of pushes everything through, but he's looking at like, I'm cool with the money right now. Atlantic is bugging y'all for an album because y'all signed to y'all brought me there. They're not bugging me, they're bugging y'all. So y'all need to get right with me that I could deliver the album.
I don't know, man.
It's messy.
I don't know if that all may be true, but we'll find out.
Yeah,
soon.
again, all what I heard, and again, I spoke to directly people in Generation Now camp. They denied. They said they're doing good business, and they are pretty much working out some new shit that will make Uzi even more happy. But they've never had him in a bad deal. That's what they say.
All right, so it's in progress
sides.
at least. That's good.
Two sides.
So you don't have to sacrifice anyone for the project. It might just work
I
out.
wrote on the X page that I would sacrifice him for this album.
That makes sense.
All right.
That makes
Let's
sense.
sacrifice this.
A couple
Biggie.
people tried to sacrifice me in your comments. That's the only reason.
For real?
I knew you posted that shit. Yeah. Anytime you post something, I might
Sacrifice
get.
X
Yeah.
Beanie for the album.
Anyway, let's see how long till we finally get this Uzi project. In the meantime, Kodak Black saying things to piss people off again. This time he hopped on Instagram Live to tell people that he's on the same level as Nas, Pac, and Biggie. Let's take a look.
I'm the hardest young nigga. I'm the hardest rapper in the game. I promise. Like, when you talk about me, you should put me in a category of like Paul, Big, Nas, them niggas. Like, you feel me? Like, really listen to my shit. I don't care about how I act like on the ground. Like, people trying to say, oh, I can't put myself in a category with Tupac and them. Actually, I'm better than them niggas. You know why? Cause I live what I rap about. Them niggas was just legends. Like, cause they died.
I just find Kodak so entertaining. I don't know. I'm not even mad at this. What do you guys think?
I'm with Kodak all the way up to that last line. I don't think he's tripping about nothing that he said to that last line. I don't believe Pac and Big are only legends because they died. Do I believe that his lifestyle in reality mirrors his music? Probably more than at least what I've seen with Pac and Big. Yeah. Do I think I've compared him again? I'm not just saying in talent, just in content of music. I've compared him to Pac before. He should have the confidence to want to feel like that. Can't knock him for that. Only that last line, I'm like, chill, bro. Like you were going, like you were talking that shit and you tweaked out.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Like the whole living what you rap about shit. I think like a lot of times that shit is a gift and a curse, right? Because when I think about living what you rap about, or about what you're rapping about, I think of like Beanie Siegel. He lived everything he was rapping about, and it hurt him in a whole lot of ways. It hurt him in a whole lot of ways, and I see the same thing for Kodak. Now I think that he should feel like he should feel like he is a great. I thought that it was the first video was kind of dope that he was saying to put him up there because he thought so highly of them. Because you don't usually see somebody his age say, "Nah, who the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
Or I don't give a fuck about none of that. So I think that he should he should want to be on that plateau. But him saying that they only this because they died is insane. You know what I mean? It's insane. But at the same time, it's like Tupac lived a lot of stuff that he rapped about as well,
Sure.
and it comes back to haunt you. So I think the whole living what you rapping about shit is a gift and a curse.
I mean, what's that guy's name? I'm gonna fuck up his name. Is it 03 Greedo?
Yeah, 03 Gritto, absolutely.
He mentioned that too. He said in the interview, I believe with Vlad, he said,
I'm the realest nigga. All right.
He said, he did say some disrespectful stuff about Pac, and I never liked that.
He said he wasn't a gangster.
He said, I'm facing some real shit. He said Pac never went through that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's up to you whether you need to go through that to be considered as a gangster or whatever. But you know what I mean? That's a valid point that even though we mythicize Pac and we love Pac and he is the greatest.
Yeah, but gift and a
You
curse
gotta
again.
think about that.
Gift and a curse again because 03 Greedo, yeah, let's say you was the realest nigga ever, all of that. He's doing 20 years right now. He's doing 20 years at the moment where he had like a crazy peak of his career where he could, if he was here, we'd be talking about him, I think, just as much as we talk about a Kodak. I feel like he was on that route. But because he lived everything he rapped about, now he's unfortunately serving 20 years in prison. You know, so I think that life does imitate art. And because Kodak has gone through these things and he's beaten some of these battles that he's going through, it's kind of helping his legend, so to speak. But you also don't want to have to go through every single thing. Yeah,
I like Turnaround Kodak, the one who came home on his
positive Kodak.
yeah, exactly.
Nah, this is the same Kodak right here.
That's why I find it entertaining. Like
the biggest thing he said though, because I felt and I remember, I think I said on the show and I got laughed at.
What?
It might have been when he just came, like. The people who he's compared himself to, like, people have compared, like, Boosie compared him to Pop before.
Yeah.
But his antics always made people be like, yo, you're mad childish, you're doing dumb shit, like, you can't avoid jail. How dare you compare yourself to these other guys? But he's not talking about his antics, and I think
he says that. He's like, despite what I do on the ground.
The music?
Yeah.
The music has some depth, has some content. There's, you know, like, he, and his recent press, I'm glad he did do press, he is a poet to some extent, and you can see it through his music.
He
Does humility count for anything? Like letting people compare you to the legends instead of comparing yourself?
The thing is prior, like I never seen, like Pac wasn't saying like, man, like I'm better than Rakim. Like, you know what I mean? Like the people that we talk about, our legends that we grew up off of, they never like jumped out and was like, man, I'm better than this nigga, I'm better than that nigga. I think that now, because you can get an initial reaction, and I mean, you can prove through your work, but you can get more, the look and the attention that you get from saying something could be more impactful from your actual song. That's why they do shit like this all day.
I feel like Pac has had a rough year.
Pac?
Yeah, the gay Tupac shit. Like, I wish we could just let him just rest in peace for a few weeks. I feel like every other week there's a headline about some rapper or actor throwing his name in something to compare themselves.
Jussie was just out of line. Come on, man. Like, that nigga was just out of line. Jussie Smollett, he was just out of line. Okay? I think he's talking about just the music. Which we could, and I mean, then T.I. mentioned Pac as well. T.I. did.
I'm saying every week, this man can't really rest.
I can handle T.I. and Kodak.
Yeah.
Jussie, stop it. Gay Pac.
All right, you guys remember the whole debacle with Kodak and Sticky Fingaz, where he said he said he didn't like how he was dancing, he didn't like his swag.
His old head vibes.
Whatever.
Old nigga swag.
That's crazy,
so,
yo.
This weekend.
So you don't even like old people.
That's crazy, man.
So Sticky hopped on Instagram to share a new diss track directed at Kodak. So he says, like, I can't read this. I can't read things rappers say. I sound really crazy when I do it. He's basically saying, like, what Kodak said never happened. I don't know.
Yo, you know, I mean, when I was a kid, Sticky Fingaz was one of my favorite rappers. I'm not gonna lie, he's one of my favorite rappers when I was a kid. But like,
why are you saying it like that?
No, I mean, you know what it is? It's
I like the disclaimer.
No.
Go ahead.
Because the thing is
you know
this.
He lying. You know he lying. You know he lying. The nigga dropped the track. You know he lying.
I just think it's crazy for where artists is at in their careers. I mean, Sticky Fingaz, he's another person that's done a lot of shit in music and in film, right? And today in 2019, we're having a debate about did he get punched in his mouth by Kodak Black or not? That's where we at in the game.
I'm not even concerned with that part. And to be honest, I didn't hear the full song. I heard a clip. I just want to know if the gun was fake. Like, the fake gun in the backpack. Like, yo, I hope he was showing up to a movie set.
Should he have even responded, though? I feel like once you respond,
nah, you gotta respond because I
Sticky Fingaz played his blade, man. He gotta.
Yo, that would have went down in the history books. Like, yo.
And now this clears this up. You're laughing as we talk about the diss track. How is that?
No, but not in a diss track. Like, bro, like just
jokes.
Is he funny?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like sometimes responding makes it prolongs the life of a ridiculous
I'm
story.
like, yo, bro, listen, man. If I'm him, I use all that and be like, listen, brother, and treat it as an older artist trying to school a younger artist, and he's been where Kodak's been. I would have treated it like that, and it would have probably just went away. You feel me? It's kind of like the Master P and Kodak situation.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't get on a level of petty with like.
This track is crazy. Like, this is crazy.
Because then Kodak's just gonna troll if anything on top of it.
You were bumping this in a crib this weekend?
Come on, stop playing.
You say it was one of your favorite rappers,
I was a child, man. I was a child a long time ago, man. A long time ago.
Wayno. Oh man.
Very long
Stand
time
up for
ago.
your idols, God damn it.
For real. Yo, when my
It's just
favorite
unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate, okay? This is very unfortunate
It's
to
the
see.
internet. The internet gets you all
The
fucked up,
internet
man.
is a crazy place, man. But you got to turn the shit off. Like, you have to turn it off. Because this is the pressure of the internet making. Like, why is Sticky Fingaz doing a track? I feel like
The cover art looked like a Charlie Brown cartoon, bruh. I know what to say.
You know what? Let's go to the next topic.
Yeah, it's
Sticky,
like-
you're still a legend. All right, so we know that Uncle Tip feels very strongly about people wearing Gucci since the blackface sweater, although he hasn't really commented on Young Thug wearing the hoodie on Instagram, I don't think. Anyway, this video clip went viral of him really getting at a man for wearing Gucci recently. Let's take a look.
That shit ain't shit till we put it on. We make that shit fly. We make, look at me, nigga, I'm fly as a motherfucker. I ain't got that shit on. I look better than you as a matter of fact. I look better than you. Yeah, you do it, but I look better than you. Before this Gucci stuff happened, you used to rock that Gucci. Yeah, you too. That's what I'm saying. They showed me they did respect me. Guess what? I can't do it no more. None of them like us.
He said, I look better than you. There you go. It's not just for Instagram captions. He really, really means this shit, man.
Honestly, listen, none of us are perfect, and neither is T.I. I'm glad T.I. did that, but T.I. has his own faults. T.I. been calling out every nigga except Young Thug. And we know him and Young Thug has a relationship. They did a song together, All About the Money. I love that song. But to keep it real, man, if you ain't checking your friend, I don't know how you in the streets checking strangers and having a video and kind of like still promoting that message. The first person you should probably try to get around is your mans. You get him to understand, because if you can't get your friend to understand, why the fuck is strangers gonna listen to you?
But I think we gotta hold up a second because we don't know if he might have hit Thug. One thing about Thug is that he's uncontrollable.
But he's checking everybody publicly.
Wait a second. All right, so publicly, but when we talk about friends and we talk about this internet shit and all of that, right? Shouldn't that be done behind closed doors? I mean, should we not be privy to that information? I think that like if him and Thug, I'm pretty sure that they've been around each other's families. They have a very great rapport, probably beyond music, because T.I. when Thug was rising, he also put him on a record, and it did a lot for T.I., but T.I. didn't have to do that shit, right? I'm pretty sure if he did say something to Thug, he probably did it behind closed doors. He doesn't need to publicly address that, because the same thing that we saying, we be getting on him for that shit. If he wrote a whole big post about why Thug is doing this, that, and the third, we'd be like, damn, ain't that your man? Why don't you do that behind closed doors? Then we have that situation with Lil Wayne's daughter said that with something with T.I. when she was like, yo, you and my dad got a relationship. Why couldn't this be done off the internet?
Right.
So I think that he may have, I don't know, I'm just speculating, but I would not like to see that.
The compromise there, to your point, right? Because if he's addressing people publicly, we feel like he should, would have been just like, Thug and I had a conversation about it, period.
Yeah, it's
Period.
like the same energy. You know, he gave that energy to Wayne. He gave that energy to, which other brother?
He got it for everyone. Like, we know that T.I. got that for everybody.
Also, notoriously, the way he eloquently read my man Floyd Mayweather Jr., and he spared no four-syllable
But you know,
word.
it's history there, though. It's history there. They don't like each other.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, you can't just use that platform to embarrass the ones you don't like, ignore the ones you do, and we're supposed to assume that you put your hand around him, like, in private and say, yo, check it out, bro. Again,
but
you have to have some type of, and again, wait. You have to have some type of, like, honesty and transparency in the public, because otherwise I start looking at you like you're picking and choosing your battles, and you can't do that.
T.I. ain't picking and choosing, man.
No, he stands for the cause, but like if we're gonna call people out, if you could only call out the people that you don't have a relationship with, and the people you do, you conveniently ignore, at some point I look at you and I'll be like, how much are you practicing what you preach if we're supposed to believe that you're using this platform? And I love how you use this platform.
Man.
I love it. But you know, again, he doesn't have to like cuss out Thug on some Instagram posts, but he should let it know and be like, yo, listen, I'm disappointed. We're going to have a talk. Even he uses it a lot.
I know,
That's
but
all
you-
I
but
want,
you-
two
but the
words.
thing- but-
I'm disappointed, my brother. Thug,
But
y'all want to have a talk.
The thing is that can always be misinterpreted. You know, I mean, I think that a lot of stuff, even when, and we're not going to get into it, but you see the whole thing with like Sauce Walker, Wife and Lucci, and Thugger and all of that. I think a lot of these situations, when people have discrepancies or disagreements, come from uploading, right? Like, I may have said it a certain way, and it might have felt a certain way, but it might not have been that. Then the pressure of me not wanting to look pussy or me not wanting to look like a bitch, so to speak, sets in where it's like, now I have to defend myself, and it leads to a whole different problem. Where I'm not mad at him for not publicly saying something because it could always get misconstrued. You have the court of public opinion always jumping in and saying, oh, well, I guess y'all never was cool, or yo, you never gave a fuck, or you was just using that nigga for a song. And then it might deter, like this internet shit makes people deter their true feelings for a person based on a caption. And I think that if he does something, it should be behind closed doors with Thug.
If I'm the next artist who T.I. calls out, or if I'm a fan that he calls out, I'm not gonna receive it well until he do the
Really,
same thing.
I think you guys both make great points, and I think the compromise here is literally him having the conversation behind the scenes, telling us the conversation was had. I don't think it's like being like, I'm about to go hit up Young Thug and talk to him right now.
Yeah.
To his point,
Like,
it's just gonna go left real quick.
If he has an interview and they like,
but
yo,
like,
did you
let
ever
us
talk
know
to
that
him?
you had the conversation about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like right now it looks like he's ignoring it. He answering everything. T.I. be on Instagram wanting all the smoke. Man.
All the smoke.
All the smoke. Don't comment about his wife. I seen some little snarky ass kid comment. Maybe innocuous like
Yo,
Your beanie.
innocuous.
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Like comment about his
Beanie
daughter.
at word gorilla.
And he was on it, man.
Uncle
He was on
Ted.
it. I think she was like, I think it was him. Somebody was like something about a dimple. He said, "Nigga, I put a dimple in your face." So don't be talking about my daughter's dimple, nigga.
Man.
Oh man. On that note, that's our show for today, guys. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time. Academics will not be wearing a beanie tomorrow.
Iwadi, can I add one last thing before we go? I would like to send a rest in peace to Tech Nine, not Tech Nine that we all know, Tech Nine, the battle rapper. He was one of my favorite battle rappers from out of Philly. Very, very dope dude. Went to bouts with Head Ice, Murder Mook. I mean, if you into the battle rap scene, he definitely was a pivotal pillar in that part of the game. So I just want to send condolences to his family. He is a great artist
Rest
in
in
that
peace.
sense.
R.I.P. Yeah, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on Everyday Struggle.
Peace.